we talked about story writing, okay? If we're going to write a story, we're going to write about something. You guys can take a mask break if you need to, okay? But listen to me talk, okay? Be respectful, please. All right, so story writing. Remember, you have characters in a story, okay? Then you have a setting. Where does the story take place? Where are we? And then a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? So when we start a story, like in the story-ish, I would say, in the first, or how about this? We'll start with one day. So one day, a boy named Ramon, so he's our character, one of our characters, was at home and he was painting. Then, that's the middle of the story, then his brother laughed at his painting and they didn't want to paint anymore. But in the end, his sister, Marisol, helped him to realize that his paintings don't have to be perfect. They don't have to look like anything. As long as he is happy with him and he loves what he's doing, they're perfect. Okay? Because perfect is what is perfect, right? So as long as he loves him and he's happy with what he's doing, then after that, he began painting all the time again. He got inspired. All right? So you have characters. We had Marisol. We had Ramon. We were at home for this story. We had a beginning, we had a middle, and we had an end. Thumbs up? Get it? Okay, so take a look at your paper, and it says draw an event from a story. Okay, so we're just going to stick with our story-ish, because it's such a good book, isn't it? How many of you guys like that story? You guys like it? I know I was a big fan. I'm just such a big fan of that story. I think it's great because I think it reminds us that, you know what? Nobody's going to be perfect, all right? And we all kind of do our own things. And I loved seeing his paintings up on the wall. It was like such a cool thing. I think I would like to do an ish drawing later. Do you guys want to do ish drawings later?
Yeah.
All right.
I would draw.
I think we could do an ish drawing later, and I'll show you how we'll do that, okay? All right, so here we go. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Right here. There we go. All right, so it says use signal words. Remember, I used some of those words when I was just telling the story. I said, one day. That's how I started the story. For the middle, I said, then. And then at the end, I had said, in the end. So then you know the sequence of the story. Okay, so these are signal words. It says after, finally, later, until, then, and next. So it says draw an event from the story-ish. And then it says use a signal word to write what happens next. Okay? So why don't we do this? Let's draw a picture of, can we draw a picture maybe of Ramon? And what was a big part in the middle of the story that was really not good for Ramon? Mia V.
The picture of his dad.
Maybe we can draw a picture of him with his flowers and his brother was kind of laughing at him, right? That was like a big change in the story, wasn't it? It wasn't a good part of the story, but then we can draw what happens and write about what happens at the end. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's draw a little picture up here of Ramon, and he's very upset. How about we just draw a picture of him very sad and upset, and he crumbled up all of his paintings. Okay? All right, so here we go. Let's get busy. I gotta get my pen out. Get your pencil ready.
I'm getting my pen out too.
All right, so here's Ramon. Okay, like some kind of early here, right? Here he is, and man, was he mad, right? He was so upset that all of his drawings, he just kind of threw them on the floor, right? And they're all crumbled up. I'm going to show all the paintings all crumbled up on the floor. Right? He had them all over the place, didn't he? Man, was he upset. Okay, Ramon was very angry because his brother was so mean to him and kind of saying not nice things about his drawings. Leo, can you begin, bud? Can you get started? Thank you. Paul, can you get started, please? Thank you. Okay, we're drawing Ramon. He's upset. He's not happy about what is happening. decided not to draw. I just wanted to draw Ramon because he's the main person. Okay? All right. So what would be a good signal word to use to show what happens towards the end of the story? So after this event, should we say after, or finally, or later, or until, or then, or next? What do you think would be a good word to choose to start off our sentence? What do you think, Francesca? Next could work. Okay, how many of us want to do next? All right, or do you want to say later? Ooh, now you're changing your mind, Francesca, you like later? Okay, or I kind of like later, because later in the story is when we, because he gets frustrated like this for a long time in the book, right? And he has a pile of his drawings all over the place. And then later is when Marisol picks them up. Okay, so maybe we'll say later, Marisol shows Ramon all of his drawings, right? So we'll say that. We'll say later, Marisol shows Ramon his drawings. And they're all up in his room, right? Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to use this word. Can you circle the word later? It's right here. Later. Circle that word later. That's how we're going to start our sentence. Anthony, can you circle the word later, please?
I actually like that word. I changed my mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, later. Very good. So we're going to start our sentence off with that signal word. We're going to say later. And then we put that little comma afterwards because we're kind of pausing after we say it. We're going to say later. But it's got to be an uppercase L. All right, just like what we circled, it has to be an uppercase L. Because it's the first word in the sentence. You got that, Martin? Good. All right, so later, we're going to say his sister's name, Marisol. Marisol. So here's Marisol. Oh, sorry, that's an S. I kind of gave it a little bit too much of a curvy tail there. I'll redo my S. Okay, so that's her name, Marisol. So it's uppercase M. Do you think you start writing Marisol? All right, later, Marisol shows.
Should I just go down to the next?
If you need to go down to the next line, that's okay. Shows Ramon his, I'm trying to use shorter words if I can, his work. We'll say work. Instead of drawings, because drawings would be a little bit longer. So I'll say, later Marisol shows Ramon his work, period. And his work is displayed everywhere, all over the walls in her bedroom, like an art gallery, right? Oops. Show Ramon if you have to. You can go down underneath here then. Show Ramon. His work. Regular shells right here in the finger space, okay? Perfect. Shows S-H-O-W-S. If you need to go down to the very, very bottom of the page, you can do that, guys. L at the end. Extend the line a little bit. And that's what shows. Look, but okay. Once you have that and your name's on top, okay, please go ahead and raise your hand and I'll come and check that paper for you, okay? All right. Very good. Get your name on top, otherwise I can't check it. Yes.